Hello, Sue. I thought that a video might be easier for me to explain things to you, make it easier for you too, in preparation for our phone call at 1:30. So I'm going to just start by too much gin in there. I'm going to just start by talking about my experiences with anxiety. So for about almost I think 6 or 7 years now, I've been working with hands, and in particular with Eric Crowther, where we offer a credit course. And in the process of doing group therapy over 20 weeks, the students work with Eric and another therapist and myself in the classroom at the same time. And the kids do therapy over 20 weeks, CBT, and they earn a high school credit with me. Um, so once we started doing this, we ended up doing a workshop at the Adventure Therapy Workshop, actually the Canadian Adventure Therapy Symposium. And that's because my initial role had to do with adding experiential activities that make the whole group experience fun. So, in my presentation, we started with a song. We did an activity about what's on your pizza. And then we get into telling people about what we know about anxiety. And of course, Eric is the expert on that. So we did this presentation back in 2011. And eventually we started offering a credit course. And then we did a presentation on why we want to collaborate education and mental health. And the two of us shared our experiences. And this doesn't make any sense to you unless you're in the actual presentation, but just to let you know what we're working on. And there's a funny cartoon here I want to show you. There we go. That's for you. Okay, so that's just my experience working with Eric over the last 6 or 7 years, and a real pleasure, honor really, to be involved in group therapy and get a real appreciation for how kids experience anxiety. Now, as we went through the process, we developed an online course. So this is in the LMS, and I can arrange to make this available to you. I have copyright permission from my board, and I suspect we can get it for your board as well. But it looks something like this. And kids generally have some e-learning experience, and it's not too tough for them to work their way through. And at the end of each section, I have some tasks, excuse me, for them to do. So this one, you'll recognize these kinds of things, how your body reacts. And I got a little built-in quiz on anxiety. They just work their way through it. Feeling anxious can be harmful. Ooh, false. Feelings of anxiety eventually go away. True. Anyway, there's a quiz here. And as students go through it, I would meet with them afterwards or throughout and discuss things with them. For some kids, Sue, this whole course would just be a unit in another course. Okay, so I would take an English course and substitute Unit 3 for this whole program here. For another student who I have the time to work with, I would go through this and add additional assignments, spend more time having them do things. So in this second unit here, you've got them doing a fear hierarchy, fear ladder. And for a few students, I'm able to actually, take their fear hierarchy for example, getting a haircut, and work through the whole thing with them. Literally work it through. Do a thought record on it with them. My main resource for that is Mind Over Mood. Primarily, this course just becomes a unit in another course. But for some kids, as I said, they'll earn a credit in HHD, Dynamics of Human Relationships, HHD 3.0. Everything in this course is publicly available, evidence-based, self-help strategies. So I didn't invent any of this. It's got built-in beautiful videos.
Hey, it's me, Rob. So, I've had social anxiety for quite a while now. Since I started high school.
So as you can see, it's pretty good. Actually, it's very good in my opinion. I did a lot of research before I selected the main resource here is Anxiety BC. You're probably familiar with them. This is a pretty comprehensive website. And I'll admit to not creating anything new. I simply go to their site, and then instead of having it look like this, which is, I don't know where to go with this, I take it and build it into an e-learning course. So as a teacher, I can chunk it, monitor it, assess it. So this particular program would be cool if we could do a continuous intake on this program, run it all the way through the year, and then maybe, plunk down some cool field trips to reinforce the teaching and practice exposures. As we know, these kids need to learn how to go to movies. They need to learn how to ride buses, order food in a restaurant, talk on the telephone. So it really can be comprehensive. And at the same time, it's all self-help material. I just feel that as an education system, we shouldn't leave it up to the kid to learn it, or the parents. We should teach them. So that's a cool resource we can talk about, and we can arrange for you to have access to it or give it to you. The dual credit program we're talking about, that's currently in the works, and unless your board runs with it, it's going to get canceled. So it is right up front talking about helping kids manage anxiety. We're doing it in an experiential setting, and even a residential component, which we know could be tough for some kids. But the thing is, if it becomes a goal for them to be able to sleep over somewhere, then let's do it. We'll design the program so it meets the needs of every kid. And certain kids, of course, this might be too much, but we would interview kids carefully and find out, okay, this is going to fit. We're going to be able to have the time and space to make sure every attempt is rewarded, every attempt is successful and celebrated. The beautiful thing about this, everything's covered. It doesn't cost the kids or the parents a dime. That's pretty nice. I also like that in the candidate proposal, they come right out and say that the two courses will be delivered to the primary target market, disengaged students with the potential to succeed, with emphasis on students diagnosed formally or informally with anxiety. So what I love about that, Sue, and I hope you'll agree with me, is they're coming right out and destigmatizing it. We're talking about worriers here. They have anxiety. They're not going to go crazy, break things, run into the woods, or anything like that. But I've heard pushback that people who are not in the know are concerned about those things. So it's a communication piece that you and I and other people need to collaborate on so that people don't overreact. Okay, I think that's about everything. That's a lot to talk about. So I look forward to talking to you Monday, or tomorrow, I suggest tomorrow at 1:30. Okay, take care, Sue.